streaming, programming, and we are live.
Good afternoon. My name's Jude Meyers. I'm Superintendent, Gallia County Local Schools. We'd like to welcome everybody to this edition of School Pride Countywide. With me today, I'm very pleased to have several guests, and I'm going to introduce them here briefly in a few minutes. Mr. Bray Shamblin, Principal of South Gallia, Mr. T.R. Edwards, the Principal at River Valley High School, and two outstanding students, Derrick Johnson, a junior at River Valley High School, and Hannah Shafer, who is a senior at South Gallia, and they are going to be joining us a little bit further in our broadcast. First, like every time, I would like to thank Dr. Johnston and the University of Rio Grande for this opportunity to be in the studio today to get our message out to the community. We're very blessed to have this opportunity to tell our story of Gallia County Local Schools and a lot of the outstanding things that we've been able to do and accomplish. One of the things I'd like to focus on today is a new initiative that we're starting in our district, and it's called the Leader in Me. Leader in Me is really initiated from Stephen Covey and his findings. Everybody knows him in the education world, and it's something that we've done and we're starting right now within our schools. We're going to take a group to do some training. We're going to take a group down to Akron later on this month to do some professional development, but the Leader in Me initiative really kind of pulls everything together for us, so we're really excited about the opportunity for that moving forward. Like I said, joining me on my left, two outstanding individuals. I get to work with them every day, probably sometimes more than we want to work with each other, but I'm very blessed to have Mr. Bray Shamblin, South Gallia Principal, T.R. Edwards, Principal at River Valley. Mr. Shamblin, do you want to just talk a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Again, I'm Bray Shamblin with South Gallia High School and South Gallia Middle School. I've had the experience of teaching at South Gallia as well as being the principal at South Gallia. Also was the principal at Attleville Elementary, which is on the north end of the county, and a feeder school for Mr. Edwards' River Valley High School. And was certainly proud to have served in Attleville Elementary, and before that, coming from Southern Elementary as part of Southern Local Schools in Meigs County. I'm a graduate of the University of Rio Grande as well as Marshall University, and couldn't be more prouder to be a part of Gallia County Local Schools and all the great things that we have going on. So.
And Mr. Edwards, the Principal at River Valley High School.
First of all, I'll say that I'm a product of Gallia County Local Schools. Graduated from River Valley High School, and then after receiving my bachelor's degree, I went back to River Valley and I taught there for 3 years, and had the opportunity to work in the district for 3 years, and then was lucky enough to be able to return to River Valley High School. When this is my 7th year there, I can't believe it's been that long, but have had 7 great years and enjoy working with the students at River Valley High School.
So the topic we actually have today is actually a very serious topic. And to give a little background, we're going to talk about a student group that has been formed in Gallia County, and it's really a combination of River Valley High School, South Gallia High School, and even Gallipolis City schools. And it's really kind of a neat combination. And to be serious, school violence has been at the forefront of the news here. You know, it seems like every night you turn on the television and something is happening in a school, which again, it's happening in society, it's happening in churches, it's happening in malls. And as this was transpiring, and most recently the incident that happened down in Florida, we met with a group of superintendents in the area, and initially in April, there was a National Day of Protest scheduled for students to walk out against gun control. And we had a lot of different conversations with area superintendents, and the one thing in talking with my colleagues in the city of Gallipolis is that we were not going to punish our kids if they indeed wanted to have something to say about that. And shortly after that, I was invited to a community meeting, and this community group of ministers and clergy and civic leaders and other community leaders, they asked a simple question: how do your students feel about what's going on in school with all the violence? And I said, you know, to be really honest, I don't know. We haven't asked them that. We don't know if they feel safe. We don't know if they feel like they're threatened. And out of that came an opportunity to start meeting with kids, and we're going to talk a little bit about this and feature a couple of our students here shortly. but we really didn't know. So as this group began to meet, we started to branch out into the schools, and our principals did an outstanding job taking the leadership on this. And so from this movement came basically students taking a stand against violence. And I think, we have a little logo that was actually designed by a River Valley student, and it was graphically designed by one of our staff members at South Gallia. And if you notice on that logo, it's footprints connecting our 3 schools. And what I'm most proud about is that we don't usually get a chance to collaborate collectively with students around the county. And this has nothing to do with a scoreboard or a uniform or a winner or a loser. This is a bunch of students saying, Gallia County, we're concerned, we want to do something to change this. And I'd like to read a mission statement as part of this, and this is the mission statement of the kids. And basically, they are asking adults in our community to support and love us into adulthood, help us to have meaningful conversations about violence in our society, give us equal and reasonable access to mental health services in our community, and allow us to build supportive and positive relationships with each other that cross district boundaries. And I think that's a really strong and powerful message, and you'll notice that in that message it had nothing to do with gun control or protest. What we heard over and over from the kids is, we have friends that are hurting, we're hurting, we don't know who to turn to, we don't know where to go for help. Can you as adults provide us with some of the tools we need to be able to do that? So in the second part of our broadcast, we're really going to elaborate on that, and I'm so proud of our kids and the opportunities that they created. And we're actually planning an event that's going to be held in June 23rd. It's a Saturday at the City Park, which we know is a focal point of our community, where students are basically going to get together that day as a sign of solidarity from all 3 schools to basically say, hey, community, we want to be the leaders, we want a better community, because we know most of our kids are going to come back after their college or whatever their career, reside here, and they want this county to be a better county, a place where they can live and have a successful adult life. So proud of our kids, and we're going to talk about that. But as we edge through this broadcast, one of the things we always like to do is take the opportunity to showcase some of the outstanding achievements that our kids have made. And so what I really want to do is turn it over to our principals, and they're going to talk about something called Beta Club. And both of our schools participate in Beta Club. It's a statewide organization, it's a national organization, and as we found out, our 2 schools collectively finished 1 and 2 in the state in the state beta competition, and we've got multiple students that are going to be representing us at a national convention this summer. So at this point, I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Edwards. He's going to talk a little bit about the River Valley accomplishments, and then of course to Mr. Shamblin, who's going to talk about the South Gallia accomplishments. And after they discuss the beta program, we're going to bring our 2 outstanding students on stage to talk a little bit about our student get-together and what that's meant to them.
I know that for, in my building, and I'm sure Mr. Shamblin as well, Beta Club is one of those organizations that I can count on as a principal, because I know that those students exhibit leadership, they exhibit character, and frankly, whenever you ask them to do something, Mr. Shamblin, my kids, they get it done.
Absolutely. That's something that when I went to school, I was not part of a beta organization because our school did not offer that when I was in high school, but that's something new to me when I came to South Gallia High School and just got embedded with the beta organization, and could not be more prouder of our students and all the great things that they continue to do through the National Beta Club, representing not only South Gallia but also the state of Ohio in Gallia County Local Schools for both South Gallia and River Valley. Absolutely. When they move on to the national level. So we're certainly very proud of them and all that they continue to do.
Yeah, and whenever you look at the pillars of Beta Club, those are built on achievement, character, leadership, and service. And it's hard to ask for a whole lot more than that out of the kid. I mean, those are strong pillars that really are good leadership components. They're preparing them, and I see a lot of successful people come out of our Beta Clubs.
Oh, absolutely. I think when you look at what you're trying to do in public education, you're trying to create a public or a positive, productive member of society, and I think that's absolutely what the Beta organization does. And when you look at the number of students that participate from both River Valley High School and South Gallia High School, I think it's evident of why South Gallia and River Valley are both at the top in the state in terms of what we're able to produce, and it goes hand in hand with the curriculum that we offer too with our students and what we're able to do, and just becomes a natural part of each school, I think, and it's a tribute to why we're so successful with both high schools.
Absolutely. I know that in both of our schools it's a 3.0 GPA, so students have to maintain their academic progress as they're moving along, and to also in my building they have to complete community services as a component of it, and in my building they have to complete 50 hours of community service, and that's for an active young adult, that's an extra thing that they're taking on and choosing to take on. Absolutely,
and that's something that can be challenging for the youth to meet those hours requirements, but when you look at just specifically for South Gallia, our numbers are lower anyway. So when you look at our high school, we're probably one of the smallest groups in the state of Ohio that participate in beta. But the output that we see that students generate from that is maximized to a significant degree.
Right.
Our students are able to be a part of various organizations, and that's what we have to do at our school to be successful, and they continue to rise to the occasion. I always tell our students we may not be the biggest in terms of size, but we can definitely strive to be the best. Excellent. And that's what we continue to do each and every day.
I know in my building I have over 150 students involved in Beta Club, and if you look at the percentage of students you have in your building, there's a high percentage of students.
Yeah, and that's in-house. It's well over half of our student population that's involved in Beta, as well as in the middle school, and that's something that we're extremely proud of. I'll just go ahead and jump right in. Our advisors are Miss Sarah Shirley in the high school, and in the middle school Tracy Burnett, and those are two go-getters in our school. When you look at teachers who are willing to step up and step out, even when they're not asked, they just take the initiative and go out and get things done for our school, for the betterment of our students. Those are the two individuals that are always there, and they mentor our young students, and they model that for our students, and I think that's why we see those results, and I know you as well.
Right. I have Mrs. Amy Stanley is one of the sponsors, Mr. Aaron Walker, and Mrs. Dana Schultz. Those are three people that work with our beta students at River Valley High School. And in addition to that, Mrs. Amy Stanley served as a state sponsor this year at the state level, so very, very proud of her, and she was very busy. But those are three individuals who not only do they support our students, but they live those pillars of beta themselves. They're committed themselves to achievement, character, leadership, and service. And I know Mrs. Shirley and Mrs. Burnett down at South Gallia do as well. So a little bit about some of the things that River Valley walked away with this year. First of all, we did achieve first place overall, and one of the River Valley students was elected to vice president, state vice president. And I know that I've seen a lot of things going back and forth between Ethan and Chad, and they really worked together. That was a good thing to see our two students working together up there at state.
Absolutely. One of our juniors, Chad Bostick, ran this year, and we're extremely proud of him. And when he's an outgoing senior next year, we're certainly going to hate to see him go. Just like the student that we're going to interview from South Gallia, we're going to hate to see her go. Those students are just absolutely hard to replace. You can't replace those students. You can only just hope that somebody sees the characteristics that they are constantly putting out there, and hopefully picking up some of that to carry that on and represent the school well.
Yeah, and I know that both of us were able to go up to the state convention this year, so we were able to see those academic contests, the artistic contests, just pulling from the different strengths that students have.
Nothing would make you more proud as a school district when you're up there and you see it go 1, 2, 3, or at least definitely the top 2 coming from either River Valley or South Gallia.
Right.
And on the state level, it just makes you really proud to be a part of Gallia County Local Schools. Not just a part of South Gallia, not just a part of River Valley, not just to be a Rebel or a Raider, but to be part of Gallia County Local Schools. And that's absolutely amazing.
Yep. Well, Mr. Shamblin, should we introduce our guest for today?
Absolutely.
All right. I have with me, this is Derrick Johnson, and he is a junior at River Valley High School. So, Derrick, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're involved in?
Yeah, I'm involved in many sports. I play football, wrestle, and also play baseball. But aside from that, I try to be very involved in the classroom and throughout the school. And I'm in the Gallia Club and student council, try to be very involved there, and then outside in 4-H and things like that, FFA, and just try to be very involved, help the community out.
Good. And one thing I will say, Derrick, about you is I'm not at your school, obviously, but I know of you, and everything that I always hear is always good things. So anytime, when somebody knows about you and not a part of the school and for good things, you're doing things the right way. So it's kudos to you on that. And with South Gallia representing us again as unfortunately as an outgoing senior, wish I had her for a few more years, but we're certainly excited to see what the future holds for her, and that's senior Hannah Shafer. And Hannah, would you tell us just a little bit about yourself and just a few of the things that you're involved with, because I know you're involved with quite a bit, and just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, as you know, my name is Hannah Shafer. I'm from South Gallia High School. I'm involved in most of the clubs at the high school, including Beta Club, Leo Lions, National Honor Society. I'm now a part of the Anti-Violence Committee. I am involved in choir, guitar class, Rebel Review. I've been varsity volleyball for 3 years, varsity cheerleader 1 year, basically everything.
And a little bit about Hannah. She grew up a rebel in every sense of the word. Mom and Dad both heavily involved with Gallia County Local Schools, both employees of Gallia County Local Schools, and Mom's still at the elementary school, and Dad subs all the time, and brother actually teaches at South Gallia. So that is a family that's all in on South Gallia. And we're certainly very thankful for Hannah as well as her family and all that she
And if
continues
you've
to
ever
do.
had the opportunity to hear her sing, she has a beautiful voice.
Absolutely. I'd say 9 times out of 10 she opens almost every sporting event for us, singing the national anthem. And if you had the opportunity to listen to her perform at the State Beta Convention last week, got to see that on Facebook. Just an absolutely tremendous job.
Thank you.
And that, again, she's going to be extremely hard to replace.
So guys, how about we talk a little bit about what we've been involved the past few weeks, or actually probably been a little over a month now that we've been working on this. As Mr. Meyers said earlier, we're working on a committee with students against violence, and as you saw that image earlier, that was a collaborative product of us working together, the students from the 3 schools. So I guess initially we started off with meetings at our individual schools, and we're fortunate enough to have members of our community come out and join us at the different schools. And I know the ones at my building came out, they were very excited to get involved with the students and hear their perspectives. And again, they wanted to listen to the students and see what their perspective was and find out ways to empower students.
Absolutely, and I think the biggest thing from our perspective at South Gallia was we had several students that wanted to raise awareness regarding mental health and mentoring and helping each other. That seemed to be a common theme that came about in our meetings within the school, and Hannah actually came on board when we met together between Gallia Academy, River Valley, and South Gallia in at Boston Memorial Library, and since then she's been very vocal and hitting the ground running and getting that positive message out there. That is what every student that is a part of this continues to do, and I was really proud of her, again, not being a part of those initial meetings, but again, it's just a testament to her character, as well as these other students, is just jumping in. What do I need to do? What can I do to help? Because I want to look out for my fellow students in this community, and so that's very, very exciting to see.
And Derrick, I know you were involved at River Valley on some of those very first meetings, and the reason you're with us today is because you've been vocal and been excited about an opportunity where we can pull kids together and work on a better climate for young people. So can you tell us a little bit about those first meetings and what you got out of those first meetings?
Yes, Mr. Edwards. We started out here in our library at River Valley High School, and they kind of just, we all got together, came together and talked about things that we'd like to do in our community, in our school, and in every school in our system to try and better everyone else. We broke into groups there and talked about things that could help all of us. And a major thing we talked about was an event to get us all together and bond and also help people that might be in some hard times, some struggles with their mental health or their home life or even in the classroom that we don't really know about, they aren't very vocal about it.
And I think that that's one of the things that we continue to see even when I meet with students is either they don't know who to reach out to, they feel alone. Maybe I'm the only one dealing with a particular issue. Or
And a lot of times, they're not even close to being the only one dealing with that issue.
Right, absolutely. And or they're internalizing that and just not knowing where to go. And so I think that that's what has been also exciting to see is, hey, we're all human. Things happen, and it's okay. It's okay to be different. It's okay to struggle. But at the same time, can we look and seek out opportunities and avenues, of services or help or assistance, whether it just be talking with someone or seeking some type of professional help, if that should be the case. Right. So it's nice to see students taking the initiative and taking the leadership and going, hey, here's what we need in today's time, and here's what we would like to see happen. And so it's nice to sit back and kind of go, okay, where do you want to go with this, and how can we help you with that? And Hannah, tell us a little bit about starting at Bossford Library, because again, you weren't a part of the building meetings at South Gallia, but again, you jumped in there at Bossford Library and just kind of hit the ground running. Tell us a little bit about what you thought it was coming in and where you're at now with it and what you think going forward.
It wasn't exactly what I thought it was going to be, but I'm really glad that I got the opportunity to join, because it's very important for all the kids to know that what you're going through, other people go through it also. But to start out the event, we wanted to welcome everyone in openly and kind of without the adults. We wanted to bring in the kids and the students and let it be student-led, to let everyone know that it's okay to let it out. It's okay to trust other students and to find someone so you can talk about it. And then we thought about separating into groups so that way we could intermingle all the schools together, so we could become one community out of the 3 schools. Because I know, even as an athlete, I've been an athlete for multiple years, but every time I go to Gallia Academy or to River Valley, I feel like it's a competition between the schools, when that's not really what it needs to be. It needs to be a friendly competition to where we can be like, oh my gosh, hey, how are you doing? Instead of like, ugh, I'm gonna beat you. Because it gets frustrating when you want to do and strive for so much, but you also want to become everyone's friend. And I feel like part of it is getting everyone involved, and no, it's not just what the adults are telling us to do, what our parents are telling us to do, it's what the students feel that the community needs to strive forward, for our future generations to strive in their lives, and to know that it's okay to hurt and it's okay to struggle sometimes, and there are ways that we can help. And by reaching out to each other and just talking about it, or finding help, like Mr. Shamblin stated earlier, that it's okay to do that. We want to beat all the bystanders and all the ridiculous stuff that says, you shouldn't hurt, you shouldn't feel this way, because it's okay, it happens. And this is how we move forward together.
I think one of the things that I'm most excited about is not just the event that we've talked about on June 23rd, but also the possibility of ongoing initiatives and ongoing meetings between all 3 schools, as well as incorporating all 3 middle schools of Gallia County Middle School, River Valley Middle School, and South Gallia Middle School, and reaching out to those students and constantly checking in, whether it be through workshops or group meetings or what have you. Because I think that that's where we're really going to have a large impact. I absolutely love the June 23rd kickoff, but I'm really excited to see where it's going to go from there, because I think it's going to meet a lot of needs in our community.
And I think one of the overwhelming themes that the students try to get across was, if we're just going to do this as a one-time event, we don't want to do it.
Right.
We want something that's going to have a lasting impact on our community. And if you look at these young people, 16, 17, and 18 years old, you guys are going to be right out there here soon, and you're going to be leading our community. Right. So, now's the time that we need to empower you. And Derrick, I know that you were involved. We divided up at the library into a few different groups. And what group were you really involved in, and why were you interested in that group?
I really got involved into the entertainment group because, I don't know, I just love music and anything else that we can get all together, because I feel that entertainment It really helps everyone come together, especially when you like the same things in the same category. We talked about doing multiple things at the event, like having singers, maybe local singers, bands possibly, just anything to get us all together and actually see what everyone likes and see how everyone is and get to know more people in our community.
Okay. Well, I think that that's only the beginning, Mr. Shamblin, and I definitely think with that group of students, not only from River Valley High School, South Gallia High School, but also Gallia Academy, the passion that they have for this topic and wanting to better their community, it's great things going to come out of this, I think.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We're very, very excited to be a part of it. Can't wait to see what the future holds, not only for South Gallia, River Valley, or Gallia County, but for Gallia County as a whole. For Gallia City Schools, for Gallia County Local Schools. I believe that's all the time that we do have for today.
I think we are out of time.
But certainly thank you to Hannah. Thank you, Derrick. And
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming and joining us today.
Thanks for inviting us.
Thanks for having
absolutely
us.
appreciate it. And thank you to Mr. Myers and Superintendent of Gallia County Local Schools and the University of Rio Grande.
And also the television studio here, they've been great to work with, and each of us have our own show. So big thank you to them as well, and thank you, and we'll talk to you next time.
See ya. Have a good day.
Thanks.